When you play the Game of Thrones, you
Subscribe and like.
or you die. There is no middle ground.
Alright, hello YouTube. So, we're back on the Grease Goblins channel. This one is going to be a weird one, not one I had planned. I just got done reading A Game of Thrones, Catelyn Chapter 2. I'm rereading the story for, just another time, just because, I'm doing more videos on the channel, so I want to just get a, another refresher on the book series. But a lot of the things that happen in that chapter are just odd, and I wanted to talk about because Catelyn's a very weird character in the book. She does a lot of things that just don't make sense to me. But yeah, before we get into that, if you guys want to see more content from me, subscribe, like, comment, let me know what you guys want to see in the next few videos. Again, this video wasn't really requested or anything, but I just wanted to make a video on it because I think it's really odd. So, Catelyn 2 basically starts with Ned and Catelyn after the feast. After Ned's basically been given the offer to be Hand of the King. This chapter just starts out with Catelyn just being, Ned, you gotta be Hand of the King. Just constantly, like, trying to get him to be Hand of the King. And it's really odd, because you would think you would want to keep your husband, like, with you and stuff, but to begin with, she starts with her main motive is, oh, Robert is not gonna understand. He's gonna take this as you're opposing him now or something. It's really bad logic, because the worst that would happen is what Ned says. Robert would just gotta get a little mad and probably would have just left. Like we see, like, kind of how he gets angry when Ned doesn't want to kill Daenerys and he resigns. It's just Catelyn constantly pushing, for that. So eventually, after they have a conversation about this, and with Catelyn trying to convince Ned that he should be the Hand of King, Luwin comes in. So this happens a little differently than in the show. The show, like, he just kind of pops up a message and that there was a rider. In the books, it's actually a little bit more mysterious. There's just kind of like a wooden box with some lens. And eventually Luwin finds a hidden message. So what I think is so weird is in the book, before the letter is even given to her, she already has this feeling of dread. Like, she knows what it's going to be about. And it's just odd, the feeling she gives before she's even read it. And then she reads it. And she says, in her own words, and to herself, that the message is actually in a secret language that only her and Lysa would know. So why did she instantly try to burn the letter? Because if it's in their own language, what does it matter? It's not some big thing. Like, nobody else is going to be able to read it. So that's odd to me, because nobody else reads it besides Catelyn. So there's just a lot of questions. It's like, why didn't you want Ned to see it? Why? It's just very odd. So then, basically, Cat says that the letter is saying that Jon Arryn was murdered by the Lannisters. And again, Catelyn just starts going, okay, Ned, you got to be the Hand of the King now. Even though this is putting Ned into more danger, going south, and would seem like even a worse idea because there's no proof. They have no proof that Jon Arryn was murdered. And then Luwin starts to tag team with her that he needs to go south to help Robert. How is he supposed to do that? He's supposed to find some evidence because he's Hand of the King. They start tag teaming him. And eventually, Ned gets to a point where he's just like, he's just like sitting there like, really, guys? You're really going to make me do this? And then Catelyn in her head goes, she wanted to, like, embrace him and make him feel better, but she had to be strong because the victory for her children's sake was not achieved yet. That's a very odd phrasing. So I think you can take this two ways, I guess. So for her children's sake, what does that mean? 3 of her children are going to be taken away from her and brought to King's Landing? Because the original plan was Arya, Sansa, and Bran were going to go. She'd have 2 children left. She'd have her youngest, Rickon, and she would have Robb. I don't know how that's a victory for her and for her children. I guess Sansa gets to be the queen, even though everybody in the world can tell Joffrey's just a bad dude, besides Catelyn and Sansa. Arya goes to the capital where you know she wouldn't like, because that's not who she is. And then Bran was Catelyn's favorite child, so she's going to be departed from Bran. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So the thing that I think makes more sense is she realizes that if Ned's gone, she can get rid of Jon, which is what ends up happening. Because you look at what Ned does, is Ned says, okay, Jon can go to the Wall. Because Catelyn basically goes, Jon's not staying here. When you're gone, he's not staying here. It's such a horrible thing for Catelyn to do. She's basically kicking Jon out of his home. That's why I think she says that. So I think this whole idea of getting Ned sent away, this whole ploy, is just so Jon will be forced out of Winterfell. This is why nobody likes Catelyn. Well, I say nobody, but like I'd say it is kind of split. Like people, I used to be one of those people that liked Catelyn until you just realize how many bad decisions she makes and screws over the Starks in general. Also the Tullys in general, just no, they're not it. But that's really what I wanted to talk about, because I think it's a weird chapter that you don't understand in the first reading. I feel like some of these little small details get away from you, because you're sitting there and you're going, like, on your first read, you're like, okay, Catelyn wants him to be Hand of the King, whatever. The second time through or more, this is like my 4th time through. It's just odd. It's really odd with how Catelyn goes about this, and you just obviously can tell that she really just wants him to leave so she can get Jon away, because she has this deep hatred for Jon. Like, it's even worse in the books than it is the show. Like, because we're constantly in Catelyn's mind. She constantly remembers Jon and how much she hates him because of Ned being with some other woman and all this stuff. It's like, dude, it's not Jon's fault. Like, I don't know. But she's not a very loving woman when it comes to Jon. But yeah, that is going to be the end of the video. I hope you guys liked this just random video of just a breakdown of one of the chapters. I always thought this was kind of a weird chapter. I think the show makes it a lot less weird. Like, it makes a lot more sense, because in the show, like, they don't say it was coded or anything, and we don't get to see inside of Catelyn's mind, so we don't know some of her motivations. And also in the show, she actually is against Ned going. So she's against him initially until the letter comes. So it's just weird. I feel like the show did a better job of trying to make her more likable in the books. I just feel like she's not very likable, besides like her loving her children and stuff. But yeah, if you guys want to see a full breakdown of why I hate Catelyn now, let me know, because this is not a one single chapter where she does some weird stuff. Like, for instance, you might think, like, when you first reread the show or whatever, or not the show, reread the books of the show, Catelyn basically disregards the rest of her children. Like, Rickon is 3 in the books at this point. In the show, he looks like he's like 5 or 6. Rickon is 3, and she basically abandons him because she wants to sit by Bran. This is for 3 weeks or so. Catelyn is just a very not smart character. Might get some hate for that opinion, but if you guys do want to see my reasoning, let me know. I've been trying to work through all of like the predictions for the next books, Then maybe we'll go back and revisit some of these older characters. But if you guys want to see this one, I wouldn't mind doing it, especially because I'm rereading like her chapters right now, so I'm gonna be fresh on the knowledge for her. Also, I want to say at the end of this video, thank you guys for all the support. You guys have really been liking the videos. I appreciate all the comments you leave on those videos, especially recently. They make my day. I'm not gonna get into personal real life stuff, but you guys helped me through a lot of stuff. I appreciate all the kind words as always. Thank you, and I will see you guys in the next video. I don't know when this is getting uploaded. I'm assuming Monday or Tuesday next week. Whenever you guys are seeing this. So, hope you guys have a good week.